Hi everyone, this is Jeff Mack, and it's video number 3 in our series of how to pick the right opportunity for you. Today we're going to analyze and help you kind of evaluate the compensation plan that you might be looking at with your opportunity. And I'm going to talk about it in some kind of general terms, but specific things that you need to look at, because again, as we spoke about in the products, the video previous to this, it's just really important that you get a good fit for what makes sense to you. Okay, and here's with compensation plans, you have all kind of different things. You have you have binaries. Traditionally, this industry started out in breakaway plans, and then it turned out that the part-time person in their traditional breakaway plan had a difficult time keeping up with the requirements. Then unilevels became popular. Then binaries became very popular. Now you're seeing a lot of hybrid plans, and frankly, I think a type of a hybrid plan which pieces several of these philosophies together, I think really is the best way to go, very simply because you've got to incentivize different activities at different kind of stages and phases of a company's existence and of a distributor's existence within that company. So that's why you find many companies, most companies, from the startup period, they have one compensation plan, and 3 years or so down the road, or another 3 years after that, or what have you, there's tweaks, if not all-out changes, because again, you have to incentivize different activities, and on paper, you have a lot of theory that looks good, but then when you put that into real life activities, into what people themselves experience, and how that experience translates into action and activity, the reality can be a lot different than theory. And so a lot of times, companies will tweak based on the need to incentivize different activities. Essentially, you have 3 phases of the existence of a distributor as it relates to the company. First, there's the startup phase. And so with your compensation plan, you want to make sure that when you're early on, that's when you're probably bringing in the most people, essentially. When I say, new, I mean in your first, 6 months to a year or so of your existence with that company. Then you've got kind of the middle, and that's after your startup phase, obviously. Maybe you're 6 months, a year into it. You've got a little team started. There's got to be a way that you can start to transition from just purely recruiting to some recruiting and support and management. And then there's the back end of the plan when you are now a leader of your team and a leader of leaders, if you will. And so there, you're looking more at a residual, so to speak, and you're looking more at helping to train, motivate, and earn off the productivity of your personally enrolled, they're personally enrolled in your team. And so over there, you got to get paid for more for your leadership per se, assuming that you provide the right kind of leadership for your team. So those are typically the 3 stages of a compensation plan. So going back to what we talked about in a company, we talked about the startup period, being, maybe 5 years. And the reason that that's important for your compensation plan is you want to look and see, who's been in your company for that period of time, how much are they getting paid, what are the statistics for new members coming in, and can they get paid a pretty decent amount of money, for a decent amount of activity. It's unrealistic to have people make significant amount of money for only enrolling 1 or 2 people. That's not sustainable. That's not realistic. That's not good for long term for the company or for promoting the right activity for the distributor force. But you bring in 2 or 3 or 4 people in a short period of time. You got to have something that that incentivizes that activity. And so with a startup company brand new, a month into it, it's hard to really evaluate that. So that's one of the reasons why you want to look at a company that's got some statistics, that's got some history, so that you can analyze those statistics for you. Then And then you've got people kind of in the middle too, starting to be a few people on the back end, but people in the middle too that you can evaluate that part of the plan. One thing's for sure, whether it's a binary, unit level, whatever the case might be, hybrid, you're going to probably have to enroll more than one person. Now, the DSA, Direct Sales Association, their average statistics are that the average distributor in our industry brings in 2.8 people. Let's call it 3 people, between 2 and 3 people, almost 3 people. So that's the average. Let me ask you a question. Those are questions to ask yourself. Is that what you want average pay? Do you want an average life? You want average rewards? The guess is probably no. So right off the bat, you kind of assume that you're going to have to do a little bit more than average. But even at the average, it's unrealistic that to enroll one person that you're going to make a significant amount of money. So you want to keep that in mind. The other thing to keep in mind is that if you've got a good product, and this is kind of analyzing the product part, going back to our product video. If you've got a really good product, a product that grabs people's attention, a product that delivers results, maybe you enroll 5 people. And I can tell you this, probably about 20% of the people that actually enroll and have a mindset to do the business, about 20% of them end up following through to some degree. Okay, so you sponsor 5, you can count on one person being really productive. Now, here's what you want to analyze is, out of the other 4, how many of them continue to use your products? And if that answer is 3 of the 4, 2 of the 4, then you got a really viable business. Okay, but again, if you go look at those numbers, you're going to have to enroll 10 people in order to have 2 that are productive, kind of average numbers. Maybe you get lucky and your numbers are better than that, but just assume that. If you enroll 15, then you've got 3, etc. So just keep these in mind as you're evaluating your opportunity and your compensation plan. And so if you got a product that grabs people and a product that people can be passionate about, it doesn't really matter about the compensation plan. You can grow it, but you want to then look, you're going to have to enroll 15 active people, 12 active people. That's when it gets a little bit harder. However, if there are significant bonuses along the way for hitting kind of interim bogeys, interim goals and things like that, then it can be worth it. It can stimulate the right activity. If not, it's going to be a long road if you have to enroll a number of active people in order for you to get where you want to go income-wise. Still, think about this opportunity, as I said before. Whatever you're choosing, whatever you're going to do, think of it in the longer terms. Think of it in the 3 to 5 year period. Because frankly, guys, to make a residual significant 6-figure income in 5 years, people go their whole careers. They spend 12 to 20 years worth of education to get the ability to go to work, and then another 10 years or so in that field, 10,000 hours, people say from a mastery point of view, but in their chosen educated fields in order to get to that residual income and that kind of pay grade and pay level. So 3 years, 5 years, that's a pretty compressed period of time. We are I want it now society, so sometimes that seems like a long time, but it really, really isn't. So so those are the things to keep in mind. Can you do it full time? Can you or how long will it take you to go full time? What are your compensation plan requirements? One thing to keep in mind is that there's only so many ways you can split a dollar. Right? If your company is taking in $100, for example, and their compensation plan says they pay 90% or 100% of that dollar out, that's not going to work, and it's going to be short term. So again, you got to be realistic and make sure the company can make money as well, so that you are able to make it with that company. The 3-year mark, 5-year mark, whatever the case might be. The other thing to keep in mind is while this compensation plan and company over here seems like it pays a little bit less than this compensation plan or company over here, look at what they do to support your efforts. Maybe some of those dollars go into marketing, into making your job a lot easier. I guess what I'm trying to tell you is this. Analyzing the compensation plan can be somewhat confusing, somewhat daunting, and there's a lot of smoke and mirrors. And just because this company seems that it pays out, a ton of money, what do they do to support your efforts? Are they going to be able to make it, long term? What are they going to be able to do to continue to improve their product offering and their company, going forward? Because as much as you want to make money, it's that important that also the company itself makes money so that they can not just stay in business, but also improve their business and grow their business over time, whether it's international growth, whether it's additional marketing initiatives, whether it's incentives. And so the name of the comp plan, the category of the comp plan, all of that stuff is really not important. What's important is what activity you have to do in order to make money yourself, and analyze that in addition to all the other factors that we talked about. There's going to be one more section, one more video in this series that I'm going to get out to you as soon as I possibly can, over the course of the next week, that's going to kind of wrap up and put a bow on picking your opportunity in terms of my explanation. Now, again, this is it's pretty detailed discussion. These are things that may not absolutely make it 100% really easy for you, but it'll give you a few things to think about. I encourage you to get with me, get with someone you respect in the industry, run a few things by, get some clarity on these certain points so that you can really make a good, educated decision. So with that, folks, I hope I've helped a little bit. Remember, we are in network marketing, so the key, regardless of your compensation plan, regardless of your company, regardless of your product, the key is to cast your net wide and work on your marketing. Have a great day.